Today on Capecchi's Corner, we're going to look at the midpoint and distance formulas. Now, these are two basic formulas that we're going to use, and you're going to use this throughout the chapter. So it's really important that we understand it going forward. Okay, so the midpoint formula, now a midpoint again is just what it sounds like. It's the middle of a segment, right? Exactly in the middle. So if you look at this diagram here, if I have a segment, it's going to be right in the middle where those two sides are congruent or equal. So to find that, we're going to use this formula here. Basically, you're finding the average, right? The average of the x's and the average of the y's. So that's it. Okay, so let's find the coordinates of the midpoint given this segment. Let's put that the segment bar there. So we're going to have the midpoint is, and I'm going to add my x's first. So I'm going to have 4 plus 14. I'll divide that by 2 so I can find the middle. And then I'll also do the same thing. I'll add my 5 plus 13 and divide that by 2 as well. Actually, don't need this up here. Okay. So now we do this. This gives me 18 over 2, which is 9. And the other side is also 18 over 2, which also gives me 9. So right here, that's the midpoint of segment XY. Okay, let's do the same thing. And again, if you want to pause the video and try it, you're welcome to do so. So my midpoint is I'm going to add 5 and negative 4, divide that by 2, add 12 plus 8, and also divide that by 2. So this gives me 1/2, and then 12 plus 8 gives me 20, divided by 2 gives me 10. So this one's a good one just to show you that it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole number. We can have fractions in there as well. Okay? All right, let's move on to the distance formula. Now, distance again is exactly what it sounds, the distance between 2 points. So from here to here, how long is that segment is what we want to know. So here's the formula. We're going to subtract the x's, and then we're going to square them. And we're going to subtract the y's, and then square them. Then we'll add those values together and take the square root of them. Okay, so if we want to find the distance of these segments here, of these points, the distance between these points, and then we're going to round. Okay, so I have the distance is equal to big long square root. So I have 13 minus 3. It doesn't matter if you go 3 minus 13 or 13 minus 3. You just have to be consistent when you're working with your other values there, with your y values. I'm going to add it, and then I'm going to take negative 11 minus the negative 5 gives me plus 5, and I'm going to square it. The square root of 10 squared plus the square root of negative 6 squared. Now, again, you can use your calculator or figure out what those are. And we have D is equal to 11.662 units. That's how long those the segment between those points are. Okay, again, let's try another one. So the distance between these points. Now, again, I can have a negative a decimal in there as well. Negative 10.5 plus 12, that's a point, plus 12 squared, right? Because I'm going to subtract 12, becomes a plus negative 6 plus 2 squared. So that gives me 1.5 squared. And I'm going to add up there. I forgot to make that a plus negative 4 squared. Okay, so that gives me the distance is equal to 4.272 units. Okay, so there's a little bit about midpoint and distance formula. Thanks so much for stopping by. You have a great day.